What is up, guys? Halloween hunters. And today we're going to be working on Black Pyramid pinball because something else broke. If you guys remember last time, the flipper broke. Well, it broke again in a different way, so we're going to fix that. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so the Black Pyramid pinball has been working great. And then in our last video with this machine, this paddle went out. So we replaced the coil and it started working. Let's hit this button right here to get started on a game. And you see it works. And this one works as well. This one does like a ticking sometimes because of the connection. But this one is only working because I did a little bit of a bypass. The problem with this bypass is you have a constant connection. Therefore, the more you use it, you're not getting your separation of the connection and you'll keep blowing fuses. So it's not a real fix. It was a temporary fix to play a couple games, but I've blown the same fuse twice since I did this little fix of playing. So we want to stop burning that fuse. So I bought the new part. Let me tear the machine apart and show you which part we're going to replace today. Okay, so for this, you are going to need your soldering iron. So I got mine warming up right here. Even though it warms up in only a couple seconds, it's best to work when it's at full temp. Here's the part we are replacing. This one is a triple prong. And basically, well, I'll show you how it works. But it's got two pieces touching. That is a constant connection. Then when you hit your paddle, that spacer pushes it away from the connection. Like that. So what I did to bypass it, because this piece broke off, is I just taped it together so there's always connection. But that means even when you're hitting, you're using this, there's power here. And that's what's going to blow out your fuse. So let's get in the machine and I'll show you this. Alrighty, so now the glass is out. Table is held up with its kickstand, and let's get into our problem. So we're replacing this piece here. As you see, I taped it for my little bypass, but it's not good to do that. And here's how it's supposed to look. Like this one. So you have your connection made there, and then when you actually hit the button, this goes up and separates your connection, as you see. Connected when you're not using it, disconnected when you hit your paddle, and when you hold the button too. So that's a very important little part. This one's been working pretty good for the most part, and it was hard for me to find these triples like this. I only found one, so I purchased one to fix the messed up one on this side. So I'm gonna unscrew this, I'm gonna unsolder these two pieces and solder it back onto our new one. Where is our new one? Here it is. Now let's measure it up and see if it's the same size. Okay, and as you see, it is the same size. We're gonna bend these out so it's easier to solder and so there's no connection made. And we are going to put this on here just like that. And would the same one work on the other side? Yes, it would. You just flip it over. They are the same part. There's not a left and a right side for this, just one. So here's our brand new one. You see those two little pancake looking connectors right there? Those are the pieces that fell off. That's why it stopped working even after I fixed the coil. What probably happened was they were already loose. I replaced the coil. And once this thing had a really strong brand new coil, it knocked them off. So this was only like 10 bucks on eBay. And so pretty simple fix. Only 2 solder points, and then we'll solder and screw this one on. We'll be good to go. Okay, so I unsoldered them and I remembered where they go in my head, but you should take pictures. And then on the new one, I separated the prongs on this side a little bit just to make it easier to solder the wires to them. Just don't go too crazy because you don't want it to snap. You don't want to break this piece either. And just make sure you're very careful with this side. You don't want to bend it. because trying to bend it back straight is very hard. Okay, so we bolted on the new one. There is a little washer, this little plate. You'll want to keep that and put it on your new one. Now it's time to just solder up our 2 wires and we'll give it a test. Alrighty, so we soldered it on. Not much to it. Make sure your wires are soldered on there nice and tight. Make sure they're not touching anything else. That's bolted on tight, and now as you see, it hits it just right. This one separates it a little further. Let's test it out. We might need to make a small adjustment, but let's turn the machine on and see before we do anything crazy. Okay, machine is now on. We're gonna hit start. Here's our button. Okay, yep, they're still touching because we just blew a fuse. I was about to say, let me get my phone light. Looks like it might be popped. Oh yeah. This is the one that's popping. So I know that that is still touching. So I'm going to unscrew it and take off this pad right here, because that's making it too far. So when you hit this, they're not separating. They're not separating because of this pad right here. So I'm going to remove that and then put it back on with a new fuse. If you own a pinball machine or any arcade games, you should have a box of fuses, because them are always going out. Bam, there's the new one, 5 amp. So let me take out that little spacer right there and we'll keep going. Okay guys, so I did something a little ghetto. That piece wouldn't come off, so instead of shaving it down, that thing, with a Dremel, or trying to break it off, what I did was I added the bumper piece on the back side by soldering the metal to that. So now when it hits it, it really separates those two. So it's gonna go whack, whack. So let's hit play, see what it does. It looks good. Looks like it should hold. Let's check our other side. That one will need to be replaced eventually. For right now, it's fine. So next what we're gonna do, now that that's fixed, is I wanna set up a free play button on here, because normally what you do to add plays, you'll open this up. Here's your little coin mechs, and what you'll do is you'll grab your the little arm, and that's the thing that the coin hits, the little arm. So every time it goes down, you're adding tickets, or you're adding coins. It's a real pain in the butt to do that. So there's an easier way you could bypass and hook up a button where you just push the button and it adds credits. And since my machine already has some holes drilled into it when I bought it, figured let's try to tap right into there and see if I have a switch we could add, because it's really simple. Let me kind of show you. Here's just a wire. Imagine there's a switch right here where my middle finger's pointing. You'll hear the tick. every time I touch it, it's adding a play. So basically you just put a switch in between that, and every time you push the button, it adds a play. So that's what we are going to do. This machine only goes up to 25 plays, so as you see I maxed it out. So I'm going to turn the machine off. We have a new fuse in there. Our paddle is working. If all you wanted to see was the paddle fix, then you guys don't have to keep watching. Let's see if I could zoom in. See, I just soldered this piece right here from the old one. I cut it, I soldered it. I guess that's kind of like, what do they call that? Brazing? I guess that's technically brazing at that point. And it works because now I have that little bit extra to help push it. To keep them separated, we won't blow any more fuses there. Paddle's fixed. Let's go see if I have any buttons, and we can do a free play button. Okay, so this is the only momentary switch I found, which means basically instead of it being a click on, click off, it's only on either, if it's a momentary off, that means it's on all the time. I'm pretty sure it means it's on all the time. When you push, it disconnects it. When you let go, it's connected. Then they have other ones. Those are good for that's what they use on refrigerator doors. So when your door is closed, the lights are off. As soon as you open your refrigerator door, the connection is made and your light in the fridge comes on. I forgot which one this is. I think this might be like the fridge, so this might not be good, but it's all I have. You need one that's always off and you push on. That's not a click, it's just momentary. They call them momentary switches. So I'm gonna wire this one and see which one it is. But either way, you'll understand the concept of adding a switch. Okay guys, so I just wired it up. I made sure to leave extra wire so I can tuck it up here since the opening is there. If you were to drill your own hole, I'd recommend doing it on this side. That way you can just have your wires go right there instead of having to go underneath. The only reason I'm doing this is because the hole was already there, like I said. I'm gonna put some electrical tape on there, but let's just show you how it works. So basically, one wire goes to this side of your momentary switch, one wire goes on that side. It's going through, it's under here. I kind of did a little bit of a tucking job through a little hole, and you put it on one side of each thing. Test yours because each little money mechanism on all machines could be a little different. So for mine, that's what you get this for. You get just a little piece of wire and touch two things together until you hear your credits go up, and that should be the one that is working. So obviously for mine it was the both ends. So when I touched those together with these, it would go ding ding and it would add credits. So that's how I knew which ones to wire tap into. Basically when that coin drops in here, it's pulling a lever which is connecting those two together. And so basically that's what you're mimicking. So I soldered it to that one. Well, this is easier to show you. There's 3 prongs, 1, 2, 3. I soldered it to that right one and to the left one. It doesn't matter which is which, just as it doesn't matter which is which on here. You're just completing a connection. There's not a positive or negative on this. You're just completing a connection. So let me do 4 players. That way you'll see, because this machine only goes to 25 plays. And now what we're gonna do is push the switch. Now this is a momentary off. I'm gonna have to change it to a momentary on, but it still works. So basically it's on right now. And then when I push it, now I let go of it, and boom, it goes back on. So yeah, I'm gonna have to switch this switch out for one that I push in. But as you see, it's working. See, it's at 24, 25. So for me, right now, it's on. And that's off. That's on. I need to change it to where this is off and that's on. It just depends which momentary switch you get. And then obviously you pull it through after you tape it up and everything, and Have it in there nice and clean. I didn't even have to drill a bigger hole, it just already fit. Unfortunately, I have the wrong switch right now, so I'll just have to order a different one. That's all. Probably a nicer looking one too than this. This thing looks kind of cheap. This is from Radio Shack back in the day. But it'll do for now. So, on this video, we fixed a flipper paddle. And we also added a free play button. That way, you don't have to keep opening your machine and clicking it by hand every time you want to play. You can just close this thing up. Now, anytime you run out of credits, you can just push the button right here. And then hit play, and you're good to go. So let's pack it up and we'll get a quick game and see how she goes. Okay guys, so now we're all done. Let's turn the machine on. I made it look a little bit cleaner. Like I said, those holes were there before I got the machine. Probably because somebody had a free place set up or tried to do one at some point. Not sure why there's 2 holes. Maybe they had a lock. I don't really know. I'm gonna have my sister do a custom Black Pyramid decal right there since that's all messed up. So here we go. There's the high score, 3.8 million. Machine looks good. I do want to add some spotlights to kind of brighten up some of the playfield parts that aren't lit. And then for the 2x, 3x, 5x, that pyramid there, I'm going to, not with these skulls, but I have some cool like candlelit ones. I'm going to do LED. That was a whole stack, but my friend dropped it, so I have to rebuild that. I'm going to wire tap into these to go into colored LEDs in a stacked pyramid. So 3, basically a skull, and a skull on top in the middle. Put a couple more on the sides. But basically when you hit that 2x, this light goes off. So to do a little cool effect, when you hit the 2x and it goes green, the first skull is going to have its eyes light up green, then the candle's going to light green. When you hit the 3x, the triple player, or times 3 whatever points, multiplayer, it lights up, I want to say yellow, but the light's out, so I got to fix it. But then that skull's eyes will light up yellow and the candle will light up yellow. Then the final one, the 5x, you see it's kind of yellowish here. We might do red or something cool and do red. So the skull topper will interact with the machine. I still got to check all the wiring, see how I'm going to do it, but I think that'll be really cool to have the candle and its eyes light up the corresponding color to the pyramid here. So kind of make like there's 3 skulls. I think that'll be really cool. So definitely make a video of me doing that. But let's get back into this. We want to play. We're at 19 plays and we're going to add one. And that's as many plays as it goes. And then we're going to hit play to start a game. Working good. This one seems a little more powerful, which is weird because this is all brand new. But let's see how she does. Well, that's great. Play number 2. Glad I got this thing going right again. You know, it really sucked. Oh, we got our little thing open there. Very hard to play pinball with one hand here and one on the camera. I love this machine. I don't know if... I don't know if I would ever sell it. I'm playing through the camera. So, I love this machine, like I said. I really want to put it in my room, but my room's a mess. And I don't have space for it. I just need to do a really good cleanup job. I want to do some light repairs. And as you see guys so far, just a couple little things have happened here and there, and it's only been with this paddle, or this flipper, I guess is what it's called. Other than that, this machine's been doing pretty good. Glad I get to play it again, try to break my high score. I don't know if I showed you guys, but I added some decals on these two. You see it's a Cobra to match on that bumper. This one's really cool. It's Medusa. So she's going back and forth, kind of taunting you. And then we got the Skull Pharaohs on each side here to match the game. Those I found on eBay from a pinball company, and they're pretty cool. They're kind of bumper protectors and decals, so those are cool. We did all new rubber bands, and the machine's looking good, and now it's starting to play good. And I love this machine. It's really fun. Even when it's freezing outside, I come out here and I just stand out here for hours trying to beat my high score. Oh. All pinball games are pretty much fun. I know there's some games that aren't as fun, and this one's more of a simple play field, but it's really fun. Really hard to get up each side here. They're kind of in an angle where it's hard to get perfect shots. The ball has to come down at a right angle. You kind of have to know what you're doing with the machine or be a good pinball player. So I've been practicing a lot, trying to get good at this thing. And it's been a lot of fun. I'll end the video here, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed watching me do a little bit of work to the pinball machine. I hope I helped you out if you are trying to do some of these little repairs. Like I said, the hardest part about repairing a pinball is kind of figuring out what the problem is. Is something supposed to be touching or not supposed to be touching, you know? A lot of times you can kind of do little simple repairs. Normally the repairs are easy like this one, and the parts are cheap. It's just trying to find what's wrong. That's the hard part. So thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all next time.